pretty much I will be moderating, and hopefully my team is here. Anyone from our team? Only Jim, right? Jim is our forever moderator. So yeah, I mean,
How do you think that this is a viable platform compared to Vision Pro?
I mean, I've been to Apple's headquarters, tried Vision Pro 3 times, and everybody knows me. I would say that it's like putting me on the pedestal. Right
Well,
now.
I'm just asking you about this headset itself. Do you think it's a viable platform?
I think this is the consumer viable product.
Yeah.
Business, they have unlimited budget, so they can go upper, right? And yeah, go ahead.
One of the issues with developing for Apple in general is that unlike with like Microsoft where they have Copilot, there's nothing like that. Now, doesn't Meta have something like Copilot?
Oh, interesting. Meta is developing something very, very similar to I think right now we are on LinkedIn Live, right?
We're on everything. We're on everything, yes.
Oh, okay. Is this live? Because right now on my phone it's not.
Yeah, I got 2 notices. So
you got no notices. So it's on LinkedIn Live. The event will start soon. Yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, right now I'm in the chaotic mode. I have 2 computers, and I need a moderator if there's anybody cannot join in. And I'm thinking about your questions. Yeah, Meta right now has according to last time I went to Meta Connect, they are building they are pretty much, I don't want to say inspiring or copy is better to describe it, but pretty much all the interface is very similar to Xcode, prototyping Vision Pro. Yeah.
Yeah, but what about assistants, coding assistants? Do they have something similar to Copilot?
Coding assistant. I have so many questions.
Like an AI coding assistant.
AI coding assistant. I know they have drag and drop. I haven't tried their Copilot something, right? Because they are doing something mirroring exactly what Xcode's doing. So when I saw that, and they even have living room kind of simulation, like everything is kind of copy the entire interface of what Vision OS is doing. When I was at Meta Connect, I saw that thing. I don't know whether it released or not, but it seems like it's very likely. Oh, somebody, my moderator is coming. Okay. Today will be like I will try to remember everything. And since, I mean, I'm still exploring everything, and I am planning to launch my game, mixed reality game, probably in 2 weeks, next Saturday or this Saturday, I forgot. But yeah, so.
What's the game?
It's called Green Bean Boy. Back in 2011, I did illustration for Green Bean Boy's story. I draw like at least like let's say 20, 30 kind of illustration and make an illustration book. But I haven't got a chance to make it come true. So I kind of put that game here. And the reason why I do that is because recently I wrote a book. Actually, it's not recently. I've been planning this book for 3 years. Playing all the games, finding what's the best practice. I want to find more like high level standards for people to understand what's the real, like how to create a game, or how to create an spatial computing XR experience. And by looking at those standards or principles or patterns, people can understand, oh, this is the kind of like something, they have some guidelines. And the interesting thing is that it's chapter 2, and at the beginning I said we provide you some principles or some rules so you can break it later. Because the interesting thing, I interview a lot of like industry top tier developers. They say there's no rules. I think because they've already understand all the things, they remember it, and it becomes part of their blood. And they say the best games usually breaks the rules, principles. So, I mean, so that's why I start creating those types of games, and I expect to launch to App Lab pretty soon, because I want to get through all this entire thing and make sure that sometimes you find out some people like to write, right? But those people who write hasn't get into the development process. So whatever they write is very high up there, and it's like a theory and practical is different. So I want to get through the process, which I combine the theory and also practical. So if the game that I apply all the principles on top of it or standard on top of it, then yeah, later on, if this game is good, then that means that this principles make sense. And I will slowly, this book is estimated published on February 17th next year. So if you are interested in see what I find out, right now I've already interviewed over 20 people, including Ori in Bar, AWE CEO founders, and also Charlie Fink. Inga will help us, Ship6R will help us writing forward. And we have Paul Hoover, we have John, and also Cody, all those like pretty amazing XR designers also accept the interview. So there are a lot of interesting perspective. So
I'm sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
what is the release date for the book, or have you already released it?
February 17th. Kate,
okay.
Kate, can you help out releasing everything? I have like a 4 or 5 device and I have so many things going on. Can you help like share the XR Hub, the hub, all the links for today, and also the book, Amazon pre-order. Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody wanna, yeah.
And also another thing, the LinkedIn stream is not started yet.
Oh, not started yet. What?
Oh.
Give me a sec. Give me a sec. You see, I thought it started. But,
I got 2 notices that we were recording, so I thought it did.
Oh, okay, okay. Try it again. Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, sometimes, you know, those things. Oh, this is. I've like, oh, oops, something went wrong. Try it again. Give me a sec.
It looks like we have pets attending who are wearing VR goggles.
Yeah, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Oh, we had some trouble going live with your broadcast. Please try again. Yeah, that's why.
Everything's so complicated.
Yeah, this is like I think, you know, a moderator will be great. Give me a sec. I probably need to restart it, the entire LinkedIn Live, and sorry about that. There's some tech issues. And maybe, you know, Kate and Jim, do you wanna do like some icebreaker, since right now all the live is kind of like there are some error of it.
So we are recording on Zoom right now.
Yeah, but live is we promise
not
people.
on, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, so Jim, Kate, can you do like icebreaker, maybe ask everybody like what's their goal, what are they looking for, and if they have any questions, maybe put on the chat. I just have to get in and set up everything. Okay, give me like 5 minutes. Yeah, feel free to chat.
Okay.
I'm currently working on the link, so I will give the speech for you.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
I'm dealing with links currently, so like I'm sending the book link and whatever. So
okay.
Yeah, you can speak for now.
Marcelo asked, is Quest Pro or Quest 3 better? That's a good question. The Quest Pro has eye tracking, for example, and the Quest 3 does not. I don't know. I know with the Quest Pro, when you would have your hand out, when you were in like augmented mode, there would be a lot of jello around your fingers. I don't know if that's the case with Quest 3. Is that pass-through mode better? Dominique, do you know?
Quest 3 is better, the pass-through mode.
The pass-through is better. Can you think of anything in which the Quest Pro is better than the Quest 3?
It tracks your facial expression. So when you talk, your mouse will talk in Quest Pro. Other than that, I think Quest 3 is better.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I know with like the Vision Pro, that does eye tracking just like the Quest Pro does. Maybe a little bit better than the Quest Pro. But So I don't know how much you're going to lose on the Quest platform. I'm seeing that we're preparing live stream, so that's coming.
Yes. Oh, I think those like live streaming stuff it can help us to get more people to watch, but it also requires a lot of like a super complicated key putting everywhere.
We
Yeah,
need an
so
artificial intelligence to do it for us.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, we have AI, everything should be easy. Why this live streaming things make it so complicated? And
Right.
yeah, right now. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions like Mozilla's. Hopefully your answer got answered. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Homan, did you have any questions? Hello for today. Did you have any questions?
I was just working on my house, so I just came in. I'm all sweaty and dusty. Today's office hour is different, right? Are we doing Unity?
Yes.
Yes, yes. My LinkedIn Live was fail. I'm trying again. Sorry, I have like 5 monitors, 1 device, 1 phone, and in LinkedIn Live and all those chaos. So feel free to chat. I will go back to normal and I will start talking about the mixed reality pretty soon. So feel free to icebreaker.
I think it's sort of an interesting contrast between the Quest 3 and Vision Pro. The Quest 3, we were just talking, the Quest 3 doesn't have eye tracking, and the Vision Pro does. And it's a very central aspect of the Vision Pro, that eye tracking. That's a large part of your user interface. But then again, you know, the Vision Pro is going to cost $3,500 when it comes out. And the Quest 3 is available right now for, I think it's around $500 or so. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And so, so if you wanted to develop for something right now, then the Quest 3 would presumably be a good target for that development. And it should reach a fairly broad distribution given its price range compared to the Pro, the Quest Pro in particular, and give you a fair amount of capability. It sounds like Dominique is saying that the pass-through on the Quest 3 is better than on the Quest Pro. From what I've seen before, when you like hold your hand out in front of the Quest Pro, there's like a lot of jello around your hand. But with the Quest 3, that supposedly is better. And here's an interesting thing. I don't know how ready the development is between Unity and the Vision Pro. But what I'm wondering is, could you possibly develop for the Quest 3 and then later, when the Vision Pro is available, maybe that development pathway from Unity to the Vision Pro will be more mature, and maybe you'll be able to essentially do your development right now on the Quest.
I know the answer, but I am not allowed to say anything. But it's like I want to tell you, but I cannot. Yeah. I've been to Apple's headquarters 3 times and tried Vision Pro 3 times. I have the answer, but I couldn't really tell you what's going on. But I will kind of give you a hint that all the development, and especially this is Apple's first time to do, you know, the Vision Pro stuff. So they are still in the alpha mode. Yeah. So especially you think that you see Xcode. Xcode is the native one, right? And for Xcode transfer to the Vision Pro, there are a lot of things that they are still working on it. And that alone, the other third parties thing. And according to my understanding, you need to use something called Metal. Metal is you can do the full body immersive experience. You type Metal Vision Pro. It's pretty much Meta, add an L at the end. meta, you put a metal. I don't know what's that. But if you want to create the immersive experience, you can use metal. And also for spatial, polyspatial, you need to first be Unity Pro. You got license, professional license, that's first. And second is that you need to pay like $2,000 per year, right? Get that plugin. And then once you get that, you see like the coding is different. And also there are a lot of physics, very interesting stuff. I just say from outsider point of view, analysis, not really telling anything happening, right? But if you see from the perspective, the coding language is different. And also the physics simulation is different. And what they do is they use ARKit, because in Unity, they have ARKit, and you can use that thing and then implement your apps into the mobile phone, right? iOS phone.
So there is support within Unity for ARKit.
Already, yeah. So the spatial polyspatial pretty much is kind of using ARKit already inside Unity, and as a media, using that thing and go through this and insert into the Apple product compatibility. Yeah. So
I think there's something that's very important related to what you said. And you talked about using metal for full immersion in Vision Pro. It's been very widely publicized by Apple that metal is not available in any sort of AR mode. Only in fully immersion mode.
Oh yeah, because I was kind of like, yeah, I couldn't really say anything, but if you want to create a full immersive experience, that's metal.
Yeah,
because there are some things that I ask people, Apple's engineer, if you want to create full immersive experience, that's metal. But since you don't have Vision Pro, so how can you even develop something that you know it works? It didn't work. So that's a tricky part.
Yeah.
If you want to know, you need to go to the Apple lab.
So my understanding is that, well, all of Apple's docs say that metal cannot be run in an augmented reality mode. And so that's even true on the phones. So there may be a privacy issue or something involved with that. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's another thing to keep in mind if you want to do metal development, is it's only for full immersion on the Vision Pro, and that's very
that's why before I was thinking about, hey, maybe we can have a ARKit, more like for Vision Pro. However, since you couldn't test whether what's your final product, you couldn't even see you need Vision Pro. So it's almost impossible. It's blind coding, basically.
Yeah.
So there's no point of having something like that. And so the next cohort, by the way, we will have next cohort, Jamie, where I'll teach it in 2 weeks. So if you're interested, dive into, Kate, can you share the link? Jamie's cohort, he is so good at teaching, and he explained everything so detailed. And for me, I'm more like jumping and talking more like a more high overall concept, but he can dive in and really detail talk to you, teach you how to approach and make a interactive basic Vision Pro game using Xcode. So yeah, feel free to register. It's something that I recommend. Cohort 2. Yeah. Okay. So let's start. I mean, talk too much. So the reason why I kind of have this is because I know now everybody is very interested in developing your own mixed reality. And I happens to spend like 2 to 3 months, I don't know, like few months to kind of figure things out. And I am planning to launch this game on App Lab. And I use ChatGPT, I use pen and pencil, figure it out and write. I use ChatGPT to help me to kind of brainstorming stories. And also I use, what's that? I use ChatGPT to help me write the code. So a lot of things I find out that ChatGPT really accelerate the entire pipeline. So let me share with you, yeah, what I've seen. So pretty much what I need to do is this. Okay, so this is helping you to see what I see. But let me quit and I will do, hopefully you can see what I see. Okay, so. Okay, so this is my room, and my room, I don't have time to do it. Okay, so this is the story. It's like there's a bean bag falling to your room, and it opens, and there's somewhere it's like in the realm of magic, something, a bean descending from the ceiling. And
Is this your game?
oh yeah, it's a game, and yeah, I mean it happens to overlay on top of my game, so it has like some weird things. Okay, and you need to put this thing into this circle. Okay, so yeah, so now you see my entire room was mapping with like a some interesting stuff, and this is happens to be how can I do that? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I don't know why the controller sometimes is not working. But anyway, so you can see, and this one this little green bean boy will start collecting hearts, jumping around, moving around. I don't know why the joystick is not working. I can restart it and it probably works. But you can see like I map out a room, right, using room mesh API. And you see like if I kind of like do this, you can see the room was pretty much really nicely mapped, and the mushroom is growing vertically outside out
So
of.
it's using stereo vision to do the mapping for the mesh. It doesn't have LiDAR, correct?
I think at the beginning you need to go to the setting of Quest 3. If you have Quest 3, I think Quest 2 you still need to draw box for each room walls. But
Right.
as for if you have Quest 3, you need to go to settings, right? Go to settings first, and then there's a setting, and then let me see if I can show you inside my thing. I mean, I feel like, and for this types of development, if I share things, you pretty much can see everything about what I'm doing. But anyway,
So there is no LiDAR in the Quest 3, am I correct?
to be honest with you, you need to check Wikipedia page. I didn't really remember who has LiDAR, who doesn't have. But what I can tell you is that first you need to go to settings. You can Kate, you Google it and see if there's any LiDAR functions for Gene. Can you do that? Because I don't have answer. Okay, so yeah, thank you in advance. And okay, so if you see this, right, you need to do the room mapping first in your setting. And I kind of like on my top of a hand, maybe physical space, right? Either this one. Okay, so if you see this, did you see pass-through space setup? You need to do space setup, right? And you need to do this first in order to mesh your room. You mesh your room, and later on, you can play all the mixed reality games.
So you specifically have to set that up ahead of time. It doesn't do it on the fly.
Yes, because if you don't do it, you don't define, for example, your bed, right? Your screens, your desk, right? It will totally pretty much ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would highly recommend you, even though, but if you do the development later on, I will share with you my Unity screens. There are some stuff that you can do to kind of force to mapping your room before playing. But I would highly recommend you to take your time, go to your Quest 3 headset and start to mapping your room. So later on, when you start playing your game, you don't have to do it again. And by the way, that can your settings can apply to different things. But if you want to go play different, for example, like other games in different rooms, then you need to map again. So yeah, so this is something that I want to share with you. So pretty much this is the thing that I've been working on. Any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself, because I mean, or Kate or Jim helping me to collect questions. Okay.
Is your game free?
I think so, and hopefully people play it and give me feedback. I will launch to Apple Lab first, and within probably these 2 weeks. I'm still working on the tutorial part.
So
Yeah.
you said you had to map your environment first, and then
Yes.
you didn't map it, it would ignore your desk or bed. And what does that mean? Because what were we looking at in your background? Were you saying mesh your room? So we're looking at meshes, or are we looking at the pass-through camera? It looked like the video was updating, so it looked like it was.
Yeah, it's my room. Actually, it's my room.
Yes.
I am doing the Quest kind of casting, right? So you can asynchronous see what I'm seeing.
Right, which means that the two eyes is stereoscopic video. You're seeing.
Yeah, it's not like a see-through. There are two different types of things. One is see-through, another one is pass-through. Pass-through is video rendering. See-through is something very similar to Ray-Ban, right? Or Magic Leap. It's clear. It's like the glass that is like a James glass. Yeah.
Right. In the context of what you were saying when you said that the Quest would ignore it, the pass-through shows the video of whatever you're seeing. Did you mean that objects that you create in 3D cannot rest on top of your desk or on top of your bed?
You need to mesh first, and it will generate a collider. Later on, I will share with you the file, and hopefully you think that is helpful. I am thinking about doing more like what should I say? Kind of live demo, and it depends on the time. Since I have another week to do it, I'm thinking about this week. It's more like talking about and seeing what you guys want, and see if according to our time, whether I will do the live demo right now or live demo next time. But I will share with you all the concept and all the links. Feel free to just jump in and do yourself, or you can wait until I teach you. It's all good. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that Homan was sort of getting at is the Quest 3 is able to, once you establish what your environment is in that setup, the Quest 3 is able to track the environment. So it's presumably using some computer vision to do that.
Yes, yeah. I would say that once you map the room, right, and it will automatically apply collider on it. And remember, once there's a collider, and your character need to have another collider, so it can jump, right? And there are two APIs. One is Room API. Room API, which means that it's using computer vision to map out the room and create collider on top of it. The other one is called Depth API, which means that it will create shaders. It's called occlusion. And shaders, it has the number. You need to figure it out. I wrote something somewhere. But yeah, I will share with you everything like from the documentary, so you know. So there are two recently released, and those two can help you to create a seamless experience. Yeah, so let me share the screen so you understand. Any other questions? I need to make sure everybody is being taken care of. Or Kate, can you also moderator the LinkedIn Live questions? If anybody has any questions, ask there. We can take care of. Okay, so all the link will be on the XReality Hub. So Kate will share on Zoom and also on LinkedIn kind of things. So right now, I just want to go over all the links that is important to you. Feel free to join our XReality Hubs, and then you can, get all the information you need on the Announce tab. Okay, so first, I think Meta has this announced, which is great. So you can see they have Mesh API, right? And Depth API. So Mesh API pretty much is more like a room mapping. And if you don't do room mapping, if you put something on top of your room, and it will kind of fall unlimitedly. It's like fall. I usually say fall to the hell. So it just keep falling because there's no collider to hold it. So Mesh API. Later on, I will introduce like the API like SDK, right? SDK.
What if you're outdoors? What if you're outside with this?
I think according to my understanding, that Quest is not recommended to use outside for some reason.
Wow.
Yeah, I know there was a tweet that somebody wear Quest 3 to buy a coffee or somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's not recommended. Yeah. I think a Ray-Ban is meant to wear outside, but for Quest 3 is recommended to use in the room scale environment. That's to my understanding, but I might be wrong. If I am wrong, please correct me, because all the information might be up to date and I might not, I couldn't say I'm always right. So if you have any, things, okay. So this is the Mesh API and Depth API. So build a dynamic experience with Mesh API. So this game is called Phantom. This game is amazing because if you go here, you got the entire GitHub, right? So what I did is that I studied the entire GitHub thing, and they did a very good job of document, and also the game is very, very good. So feel free to jump in and just, got all the files and start playing. I think I start with playing this game and start learning everything. Later on, I will share my entire kind of like overall files that I'm currently working on Green Bean Boy. So, like what's the entire logic for the large files and my construction. Okay, so this game, I highly recommend you to download it. And there's another one, which is Depth API. So the difference between this is mapping the room, putting colliders on all the room, right? Make sure it's kind of good. Oh, okay, if you want to see this game, let me share with you. So you can see that it understands the room, and all the stain or all the stuff is on top of your sofa. But you have to do the mesh first. Yeah, it understands all your room, but you need to map it first.
So can you use this on the Quest Pro and Quest 2?
Yeah, I personally think that Quest Pro and Quest 3, it's the same thing. The difference is that I think Quest 3 is lighter, and the warping I personally think is better, and the Quest Pro is heavier. And also Quest Pro has the kind of like an inner camera. So when you talk, for example, in Horizon, your mouse will talk, your eyes will blink. I think it catches your facial expression. Okay.
Well, is this a total no-go on the Quest 2?
Total no-go. I think the Quest 2, you can still do it, but I think the frame rate is a little lower, and also passing through was not as good as Quest 3. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, let me go under. Okay, so if you want to see this, if you do occlusion, you need to download this. It's called Dev API. Dev API is merely on GitHub. So I will tell you what to download, what not to download. So if you want to have a room, right? Before we talk about, we map the room. So you know where the mushroom room need to grow as a room base. But if you want to know like, oh, if something, your virtual object is behind that thing, because if you don't do this Dev API, everything will be like that. Yeah, it doesn't feel like this little thing, little animal is inside the room because there's no front and back. So if you have this thing, it will have some occlusions. Yeah, so for example, if something is behind the table, it will be hidden. So this is something. Okay. So if you wanna see this demo, so for example, like this one, right? And this is called soft occlusion. Later on, I will show you the entire demo and how to download it and what to toggle. Yeah, you see like when it walk. Yeah, it's kind of go behind it, go in front of it. So it understands not only the entire room, but also the layers or what's front, what's back. Oh. Okay, so this is from this documentary. And what you do is you go to, this one, me do this. Okay, so if you really wanna do this is recently they kind of put this new things, and they kind of have really interesting the entire development. So you can totally, read this over and also go here and make sure you kind of download it, play it. Yeah, so this is the new one. So this is also mixed reality. There are a lot of really nice GitHub documentary. Okay, so maybe we can dive into SceneMesh. SceneMesh is something that inside here you have to kind of make sure that you have it. Normally, if you see the scene manager, where's the scene manager? Okay, so it has like a volume. This is a volume, and this is the plane. And it has different things, for example, like a scene volume and scene different classification. If you see this, it has the different things such as furniture, such as different things, but I will tell you more when I share my Unity thing. And the other thing is Dev API. Dev API you need to download from GitHub. Not this one, GitHub, Dev API. If you go here, you can see actually, you see like soft occlusion and hard occlusion. Soft occlusion, it will kind of soften, so it looks kind of nicer, but it still feels like a not really natural, just because it's I would say it's still early development. And this one is interesting. You can see the hard one. Later on, I will share with you on my file. There's like a Unity toggle things, and you can share like no occlusion, soft occlusion, and hard occlusion. And this one is I would say for their sample thing. Later on, see if I can kind of share all those, download it, and see if we have time to do this. So if you see this, soft, hard, and no occlusion, right? The hand cannot go through, right? And you can also see like, whether you can pet kind of like the depth sensor. Okay, so any questions? Yeah, okay. So if you want to download it, type MetaQuest. There are millions of it. Which one to download? Okay, so for me, I would highly recommend. Because they use this and it's the same picture and it's very confusing, right? So
I have a question about the GitHub stuff. Since it's on GitHub, can you modify the code for the APIs?
You download on your own and you modify on your own, but you couldn't push back.
Okay, so you
There's
could
only-
change the
yeah.
APIs if you wanted to.
Yes, you can totally copy the entire thing, but I believe they have some license stuff. So prevent you to upload and resell. But it's so obvious because it's their template. What's the point? And people will recognize it. Everybody will recognize it. So there's no point. Yeah. Any questions? Before we jump in?
Jump.
Hmm?
Go ahead and jump in.
Okay. So there are two things you need to download. If you want to create a mixed reality game, two things. You can download anything you want, but only two is necessary. I can tell you the way that I figure out how to download is to look at how many people like it. Okay. This is the first, and you need to pick this one because the name is so confusing, right? Oculus integration, Oculus core SDK, all those different names, but I usually download this one. Okay. So you see like there are 7,000, right? This one. They keep changing names. So
why does it say deprecated? That usually means we're supposed to use something else.
Interesting. I mean, it's not really deprecate. It's 57, right? I can tell you they keep changing things. But 2 months ago I used this one and it worked.
Okay.
So depends. Maybe there are some different documentation that tells you, yeah, right. I kind of suspicious about this. So you open it, you download it, it should be fine. Right now, I still use this and it's working with me. And if it is deprecate, then why I can open Unity? I don't know. They should disable it. So I would say Meta, because everything goes too fast. So it's very hard to track. But I can tell you I download this one for Green Bean Boy game. So you can download this one, or I think maybe they want to prioritize this one. You need to probably see the, let me see. They have something, right? Description.
You would think that if they had something that was deprecated, that they would tell you on that page.
I think
What-
maybe it's this one though. Maybe it's this one, the new
Oh,
one.
that one. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Core SDK. To be honest with you, it's just too many things. And yeah, even though it says deprecate, you can still try it since it's not disabled. And I can tell you, I use this one to develop the game and everything works well. So you can be doing everything new things by, I think for this, probably XR Core SDK might be Meta wanna centralize everything instead of, give everybody like a million SDK to download. But yeah, if you see this, right, I think it's probably this one, deprecate, but move to this one. But I would highly recommend just to download this one. Yeah. Okay, this one, right? The other one is that if you see my game, I have a hand to grab, right? So that hand grabbing is XR interaction SDK. So you need to go here and do the SDK thing here. So you need to download those two. Oh, the simulation, sorry. Integration and interaction, those two. Any questions? You need to download those.
So the interaction SDK gives you hand overlays on top of your pass-through hands, but do you have like a body? Up to what point does it model something? Like you have hands, wrists, elbows, do you have shoulders? Do you have a torso?
I think you have hands, and the torso, you can use your avatar thing. Meta Avatar VR multiplayer. By applying this to your entire body, you can see yourself. Otherwise, for the hand tracking, you only see your hand. But this one, you can apply the entire body on top, mapping on top of your body. This is avatar. Yeah, meta avatar.
So you would choose one or the other, right? Because then you would have them fight.
For example, the thing that you call, right, I share, like I have a hand mesh laying on top of my hand. That thing, actually, you can disable it. I can share with you my screen. I need to disable this one. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in and see two. Okay, so right now you can see my screen, right? This is the Green Bean Boy, and I will describe everything. And I think today it seems like I just do a simple intro. Maybe next week I will share the end-to-end how to set up. Today we just do the overall intro. Just keep it simple. Okay, so things. Okay, I remember my entire thing is on intro. If you see my file, okay, so I probably need to disable this so I don't. Okay.
What is another SDK you need to download?
Two.
Interaction and
yes, interaction and either core or
core. Okay.
yeah, give me a sec. I need to remember what's the name of it. Okay. Yeah, or I can just share with you the package manager. Okay, so if you go here, see my package manager, right? You can see in project. Okay, so for this game, what you can see is I do the core utility. Meta, let me see meta. I think I put the interaction Dev API, right? Dev API need to start using GitHub. You need to use GitHub package and import in, and you need to follow the entire GitHub instructions, because there are something you can use, something you can't. They have two versions. One is standard pipeline. The other one is universal rendering pipeline, which well, totally different. You need to relearn that shader thing, because you can use like a shader graph in Unity. But since I just like, okay, I didn't use the universal rendering pipeline because it takes some other time to relearn everything. I use standard. So if you see this Dev API, in GitHub, there are two things you can choose to download. I download the standard. I didn't download the universal rendering pipeline. So you can do this. And also there's another one, which is, let me do this. 57, I remember something 57. Yeah, so you can see, yeah, I download that interaction. It's called XR. It's called ITK. Yeah, I download those two. Interaction toolkit. Sorry, interaction toolkit. This one. So this one is important, right? The one that deprecate actually, but it works for some reason. And I just realized it's deprecate today, so it should be working all the time. They just want to kind of put everything together in a better package. Yeah, because there are so many new things just coming up. So this one you need to download. And the other one is Dev API. I think those two already enough for you to create a very interesting game. Besides, if you really want, something called I think interaction is a hand, right? And Dev API, and the other one is you probably need three though. Maybe Oculus XR plugin. So let me kind of give you something. It's just the name is so confusing, so I have to give me a sec. Okay, so 3 things. And Kate, can you document those 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so first one is, I think it's probably Meta XR Core SDK. It sounds like the big, very important stuff, but I download this. It's called Oculus integration. And if you need, I put on the chat. So later on, Kate, you can share. This one is first. I know it's deprecate, but I download this one. This one's first. The second one is interaction, which is you need to use for your hand, right? Interaction. For the game, if you wanna do the functions that using hand, you can use this called interaction. And the other thing is Dev API. Dev API you need to grab from GitHub. So let's see, not this one. Oh, okay, here. So those 3 are the packaging you need to use. And how to do this, if you go here, right? They are teaching you how to kind of implement this. You need to go through the GitHub, and when you scrolling down, it has Dev API requirements, and it tells you everything, right? Integration 57. So it's interesting that it's deprecate, and it's kind of something that yeah, this one, right? You can download from here as well. First, you need to download this, right? And second, for example, it teaches you how to use GitHub, and I use the way that this one, because if you see my package, it has Git. So I use GitHub to import into Unity package. And the other thing is that Unity project, right? You just click and you can see yeah. So I pretty much just scene located in the scene path both sample scene. So I download the entire thing, right? And yeah, you follow this instruction, right? I use the Git URL. So though there are 2. This is universal rendering pipeline. This one is standard. Before I use the second one, but because I'm not familiar with the universal pipeline, and when I set up my Unity, it's 3D scene. So all my shaders mess up, not linked well. So I regret, I set up a new thing and I do standard. But if you wanna later on create very fancy, cool shaders, a universal rendering pipeline is something that you might need to learn. That's a requirement. Any questions? So you can definitely use, either import from GitHub using URL, or you can download a package and insert it. And depends on if you use standard or universal rendering pipeline. Any questions?
Where did ITK fit into that, by the way?
ITK. Oh, what's
You had mentioned it. Forget about it then.
ITK in yeah, it's just ITK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this terms was from probably Meta internal, so we call ITK. I don't know why it's called ITK, but everybody just call it ITK. So
I've used something else called ITK.
No, it's just
but that's not this.
Initial, yeah, abbreviation. Okay, cool. Anybody has any questions? Feel free to ask, and I just have to keep drinking waters. Anything? And I will go back. Oh. Okay, so you see like there's Git, right? Git, you can totally do this. You just go here, right? And you need to add package from Git URL. Click it, right? And you just copy. If you are from standard, you copy standard line. If you do the universal rendering pipeline, you add universal rendering pipeline. And at the end, put all the URL and click add anywhere. automatically add that API into your Unity scene. Any questions?
So when you add packages from it, does Unity have the concept of workspaces where the packages are only installed for the current project you're working on? I assume it does, right? So it's
yes. Very similar to any development things that you work on, right? For example, if you work on one project, you put all the packages in, and next project you need to reinsert.
Right. So you're not installing them kind of globally. I'm thinking of like Blender when you add like add-ons. It's sort of like available to Blender itself. But, okay.
Yeah, it's everything. Every time you need to reinsert, re-import.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let me share with you, once you import in, right? You will go to Oculus, and you will see a lot of interesting stuff. And what I will share with you is that normally I just type pass-through. You could type not this one.
Why is the lettering backwards in that?
Oh, okay. So it's just the camera view. So all you need to do is just, go here. Oh, give me a sec. I have to do this. Okay. So, probably, not hitting this. Okay. So what I will do is, you can just do this, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's just like somehow, when I save it, it was more like a reverse. So you can definitely put the Alt key, and then your mouse, right click, and you can rotate. And this is the VR thing. And just like echoing what Homo said, that the hand thing, right? So if I don't want hand things, I can just, where are you? Go here, right? And I just turn off, and it will be gone. And which means that there won't be any mesh anymore, but your original hand. Pretty much this mesh is mapping on your joint, on your, we have like a tip, and we have like different joints. So this is like a mapping the entire hand. I put it on and I can take it off. It's all good.
So
it won't really affect anything. Yeah, go ahead.
You only get hands, or do you get arms? You get arms too?
Oh, I think for VR, the only thing that you need is a hand. Arm, it's more like avatars things, because it won't really, it's not a crucial component to interact your game. Normally, people only show the head or the gargle and the controller. That's those three meshes define whether you are in this space or define the game. All the interactions, those three major parts. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Let me keep talking. Okay, so what you will do is I drag a OVR camera, right? And because for this thing, I have different things, and different things I get different cameras, and I use like a change things at the end of the chapters, and I will jump to things. I know for the World Beyond, they use enum to toggle different chapters. They have like a game manager, which has a few thousand lines, and it's too advanced. I mean, I do more like a more simple and for me to understand. And yeah, so this is kind of the way that I approach. Okay, so what you can do, what I did, I just like tell you the overall how I map out, how I learn things. And next time I will do all the walkthrough, because we only have 3 minutes. I just want to tell you like which thing means which, and what means what. Okay, so This one I drag from the hand interaction. So I remember, so this one, right? This camera rig, because according to my storyboard, I want to drag a beam and slot into something, right? So that interaction, it requires a grabbable, like the OVR camera rig. So I grab from here. If you go to where? Oh, Oculus, right? There are a couple of folders you need to be kind of take a look. Okay, so it will be from, you can do sample framework, right? And you go here, right? And you can see grab, right? So you can see grab, maybe from scenes, yeah. Scenes, right? So, oh, scenes is mine. Anyway, simple framework, and let's see, core, and you can see maybe custom hymns, maybe not this one. I think there is something called scene. Scene. Okay, anyway, maybe I just do this like a grab. Okay, grab scene, right? I grab from the distant grabbable or debug distant grab. Okay, so probably this scene. Oh yeah, yes, I grab everything from this scene. So this scene, I think I kind of duplicate this scene. So this is the default scene. So what it do is that you can do distant grabbable, and you can kind of not passing through or pass through. Like long time ago, I think I used some examples, and I pretty much grab the entire stuff. Like I grab this thing. I grab this entire thing, move to my chapter 1. So I got the grabbing elements in. And on top of this one, I add the passing through, because passing through is applied to your camera. So you need passing through. You just add the passing through script on top of this camera. So you can get the thing that not only you can get pass through, but also you can grab things. And I also kind of decompose each stuff and trying to study all the, for example, it has distant grab, it has rigid body, it has colliders. I kind of study all the essential component and use the entire setting applied to the object, like the beam that I want to grab. So I apply all those like this, all the component on top of my beam so I can grab. Yeah. Any questions? How I get the grabbable on the camera and also those stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to.
Did you say you get the grabbable on the camera, or are you just adding
object? Oh, I add the entire camera moving. So, and this one is the one, right? So I can tell you under this entire one was grabbed from that scene, sample scene. And then on top of it, I add OVR manager, I add headset emulator, and I add OVR pass-through layer. I add those three scripts on top of the grab camera.
So what are scripts in Unity? Are they?
Yes, once you import those 2 packages and also that Git, the Git is only affect this occlusion toggle and the environment depth occlusion. So you see, like there are 3, right? No occlusion, hard occlusion, soft occlusion, which are you press a button and pretty much it triggers this, and it has 3 different occlusion. But I mean, later on, I will do the default soft occlusion. So far, I tested out soft occlusion is the best.
I guess I'm trying to understand the design philosophy of Unity itself. The term script, means something different to different people. So it looks like you dragged some objects and the objects have scripts attached to them. And are these
Yes.
constantly executing, like on every frame, they're doing some execution?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like component, but the script component to be added. So you can, because you add those packages. So for example, I want to add, let's see, right, all those, right? You can put like a OVR. See, OVR, it has all those stuff. Once you start putting, importing the package, all those scripts will be imported in. So it's kind of more like a default thing.
Those are all in C#, is that correct?
Oh, yes, yes.
What does OVR stand for?
Oculus VR. Oculus VR. OVR. Yeah, it's like a since at the beginning, it just keep calling OVR. Any questions? Okay, so you put here, right? And I can tell you for this one, 2 Pro 3, you need to do this. And then you scroll down general. You need to, if you want to do the scene, right? You need to click this one. This one is very important. It's called scene support. Oculus call the mixed reality if you want to mapping your scene. This need to be required or at least supported, right? Shared spatial anchor, it doesn't really matter, but scene support is necessary. You need to check. And the other thing is that enable pass-through, this need to be enabled. And permission, you need to go here and scene need to be checked. So you can map your entire room.
Wouldn't it be great if you could use an LLM to set all of this for you?
Oh, this would be great. Jim, do you want to create an LLM and help everybody to set up? This is like every time, sometimes, you know, when I recreate a scene and things is not working, and at the end I figure out it's just a small box, it's not checked, and I feel like, oh,
well,
why am I doing this?
Being in an IDE, this GUI actually makes it harder for an LLM to help you, right? You'd rather just get to the code itself and then the LLM help.
Yeah, right.
Well, if it could set all the little check boxes and everything, you just tell it what you want to do, and then it just sets all the check boxes for you. And then that would be from heaven.
Yeah, right. I totally agree. Okay, cool. This is like just pain in the ass. And I mean, I wish, you know, Unity, I remember it has Muse. And today I just received an email that is like, oh, you got like a 1 month free trial for Muse. I think probably nobody's using it, so it become free.
Well, actually, you could just import the updated packages, check all the things, and then save your project and push that to GitHub as a starting point for.
Oh, that is smart. Yeah, I didn't do that, but I think I think this is the right way.
You can make it the XReality, you know, bootstrap or something.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
You do have this code in your. Do you have it in your XReality Pro stuff somewhere?
I think I private it for more like a personal version control. But once I will have a mixed reality workshop. So that one I will make it more like
for members only, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, members only. Yeah. So later on we will have a paid workshop, and now it's just, you know, free one for you to kind of learn more. But for pay one, I will start a small projects, and within 4 or 8 hours at the end you get the small thing. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting and fun. So if you are interested, we will post on our hub and also on our fan page. So follow it and you will get notified. Any questions so far? Or I will jump in and trying to knock everything out. Okay, so those are the grab one, right? And once you put the thing like room mesh, room API, which is and you will get an OVR scene manager. This is the crucial things to map your room. Okay, when you drag, it's all part of the package. You need to type OVR scene manager, and when you get in, you will see plan prefab, volume prefab, and later on you can do something called overrides, which you can put a lot of code, customize stuff. For example, remember when I jump into the game, if you can recall, there is like a video types of things mapping on my ceiling. That one I was putting, if you see ceiling being band intro, I put a video there. I go online and find free kind of like a portal types of videos, and I do loop. And I put, if you see this, I put what's this mesh, right? Mesh, you need to use quad. You couldn't use plane. For some reason, plane is not work. Quad works. Okay. So I put a video player. So for those kind of shaders, you can use universal rendering pipeline and use graph shader, graph, and do some node coding, the graph coding. Yeah, I don't know how's that code, a lot of node, that types of coding, and you can do the loop thing. But I just use the video and do the looping on this mesh. So you can have mesh, and you can put a lot of things under it. But all this need is, it's called scene anchor. You need to attach this scene anchor. And also this too is required, right? So for example, this just means that, if this plane cannot be detected, you need to have a volume. And also it can have the collider, and it can only have the mesh as well. So collider, it depends on whether you want the character or something to collide on top of it. You can put a collider on top of it. For example, floor, if you want your character, something to be on top of it, you need to put a collider on your quad. If not, you don't have to. So I put a video here. And okay, so what does this mean? If you take out those, it means that it will do the default invisible plane. Invisible plane is just a collider on this one, right? And it has different things. For example, like I can override. Override it means that prioritize those over this. So you can have a default plane. And the reason why I didn't use volume is because volume has a depth on top of it. So instead of just a plane, it has depth, and it's a little hard to control, but you can try it. When it detects there's a volume, it will put a cube there. When it detects it's a wall, it will put a plane collider on top of it. And also you can kind of click, right? And you can have, different types of things. It has ceiling, wall face, desk, couch, door frame, window frame, others, storage, bed, screen, lamp, plant, table, wall art, invisible wall face, global mesh. Global mesh is just everything is kind of like a triangle types of thing. So any questions so far?
Is there any spatial audio that you can use with this stuff? Are people
I think in Unity, it's kind of everything is kind of spatial, right? Because I am not the audio types of person. Anybody knows? Kate, do you know like those stuff? I mean, we have a couple of people have VR experience. I don't really know audio. So anybody, if you know, please jump in.
I also don't specialize in audio.
So I see. So you mean like here, right? There are like a spatial audio.
Well, if it's anything like other things that I've used, you can add wave files as assets, and wave files can be attached to objects. So they assume the position and it will figure out the audio panning to make it seem spatial.
Yeah, I don't know this. I probably need to learn. Audio is always like after I figure out everything, and audio will come later. So I haven't gotten that part yet, but yeah. So if you are interested in audio thing, maybe Kate, can you give people some links on LinkedIn and also on Zoom, so people later on they can click in and learn it, or the XReality Hubs. Cool, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so this one, and yeah, so Scene Manager is really helping you to do a lot of things. And this spawning, if you see, for example, like this one, right? I just want to share with you, like, where does this starts? So if you see the coding, it starts, I think, it's not even in awake, it's on start. So I had some issues where I spawn something and I want something to be before it generate mesh or generate collider. So you need to play around with awake or start. And if something in between awake and start, or you want something to even more accurate timing, you need to use IEnumerator coroutine to in between. If you want some timings before, after, between awake and starts, you use coroutine to, because coroutine, it has more like a yield kind of, yeah. So for example, like okay, starts, right? So if you see this code, it's pretty much when it starts, it start mapping out the entire room, right? A scene volume, right? So if it is not volume, then it's the floor, right? And it has like all the stuff, but it's start with starts. So in order to do that, I have to, you see, I have awake and start. Anything I wanna grab, because you kind of want to have some good timing. For example, like, oh, my bean, if I want to grab something in my bean, I have to do either awake or start. And if you want to do some timing things, story curating things, is normally coroutine, right? So coroutine, the good thing about it is that it has like a wait for seconds, so you can put all the different timings when you jump in and something start popping up, and you don't want everything to start at once. So a coroutine is a very good way to curate and make sure everything kind of follow accordingly and have some timings. Yeah, any questions? Okay, yeah, I think we are pretty much passing the time. And yeah, any other questions? Share with you the cloud. And so I'm still working on it, but it's very interesting, and I really enjoy the time when I was like doing all this. It's just very fun, and yeah, and it's very satisfying. Yeah. And any questions?
Can it recognize what room you're in? I mean, can you do setups for multiple rooms, and can it recognize?
Oh, interesting. The thing about it right now is that, for example, before I was doing in the living room, and every time I feel like, oh, it's just annoying to, I need to take the plug out and go to living room, and I feel lazy. So I start doing on this room. And doing on this room, I need to remap everything. And sometimes I think right now the technology is still not mature yet. So when I map, there's some little gap between each mapping. So sometimes when green bean move around, it will fall. If there's no collider, it will just unlimited fall. So, and sometimes when I spawn, for example, heart or some mushrooms, some clouds, sometimes it will stocking inside a collider, which is because I define my room first. So for example, if the heart is spawning inside the collider, and I couldn't even get in to get that heart, couldn't get the point. So yeah.
So can you save multiple room setups? Or is
Oh,
it one at a time? You can't save them.
I haven't tried it, and I normally set up one room. And today I interview Cubism's, you know, Cubism VR's developer, Thomas. He said that he has something and he rendered the room and he saved it. I don't know how he did it, but there's a way to render rooms and saving multiple rooms. And he said that when he developed Cubism VR, and also right now he's developing Laser Dance. Laser Dance is a game. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see Thomas' stuff. Okay, so today I'm interviewing him, and his game is so interesting and amazing. So laser.
But alternatively, could you just make one really big room and just contiguously like walk and map your entire house or apartment?
Oh, I think that's probably Vision Pro can do it right now. Plus, you need to preset it first.
But when you're like
Mm.
drawing the map, or not drawing, but scanning a room, it only takes like one square. Like if your doors are open and you walk through the hallway, it will just stop scanning, or what happens?
The entire thing, the way to do it is that you can do two, right? In this, since it's required, so if your room is not being scanned, Quest will force you to scan. And the way to scan the room is that you wear it, and it asks you to look around the room, and it will kind of say that, oh, your room almost being done, and you just keep scanning. And once you scan the path you being scanned, it will have triangles, you know, the quad or something, the triangle things, and to start meshing around the room. And once you mesh around the room, it will have another dialogue, ask you to add furnitures or add objects on your room, so you can map around. So you need to do all the mapping before you play the game, which is very annoying. But I think a Vision Pro might have something you are looking for, but not Quest.
Go ahead.
So it may be, Homan, that if you did what you're describing, that it would just be too complicated for its computer vision capabilities to figure out.
Yeah, it sounds like the way you describe mapping is that you're standing still and operating like 3 degrees of freedom, where you're basically shooting rays 360 degrees around you in order to find where the hit points are, but you're not translating. You're not like walking through your house and producing a like an architectural layout of where everything is. So you're kind of limited to where your room is. Even if your door's open, it won't go beyond, you can't walk into it to scan it, right? So
yeah, it's not like a simultaneously scanning, but it's the pre-scanning. It will force you to scan before you play. And you need to manually set up, or spend some time just to look around and set up. Cool. Any other questions? So this is kind of like the overall things. Pretty much you need to import at least 3 packages to have hand interaction, room mapping, and depth sensoring. And also those like toggles and scene managers. And scene managers is very crucial to the entire scene setup. And remember, on your headset, you have to enable this thing. It's called scene support. If you don't do this, it won't even interact. So this one and also this one are very crucial to the entire. Ooh, wow. Yeah, I just have a lot of things. And all those are preset. So those are kind of like come with the package. You can have invisible, so things will climb on top of it, but there's no mesh. But if you have non-invisible, it will has, you know, the those things, and when you kind of like putting start making your games, and those, you know, the three things will show up. Yeah, XYZ will show up on everything you map.
You know, I'm curious about something with all these little check boxes and everything. Is there somewhere a text file that just contains all those settings in it? So I'm just wondering if you could access it perhaps through text.
What does that mean? I mean, text.
There's what I mean is there's all these little check boxes that you can check in Unity, right?
Yes.
Like in the inspectors on the right-hand side. I wonder if that exists
Yes.
as a text file as well.
Yes. Here, you need to kind of edit script, right? It's called OVR Manager. And OVR Manager is a script, but because you kind of put on as a object component, it will have checkbox by default as an interface. So if you wanna,
it has the equivalent of that whole thing on the right hand
yes.
side.
So this and this are the same thing. This one just easier to use, even though it's very hard to use, but compared with those lines, it's easier.
Oh, that's very interesting. So you might be able to attack this from a text angle and make life a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think those are interesting point of view. And Jim, if you can help us to do the, you know, we will, yeah, this will be the great invention of all time. I will invite you to speak for the event just to help us to learn for it, and maybe possible a workshop. Just, you know, just get through it and having some defaults. That's very helpful.
Well, when there's spare time.
I know you are very busy. How's your Vision Pro game?
Well, I'm working on things, but it's all very time consuming. And as you know, it's the difficult part with Vision Pro is getting the information about development.
Okay, cool. So anybody has any questions? I know now we are just, you know, scratch the surface, tell you what's there, and knowledge and actual, you know, your knowledge and your ability, or the whether you can do it or not, is two different things. But at least I share with you something that enough for you to start implementing and also start working on something. I don't know. a lot of things. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I have one question about, you were saying you used a video for the portal on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm assuming when you do that, your video is an asset that becomes bundled in your output artifact.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So this is the thing. So if you go here, right, this is actually the video, and hopefully I can play it. Oh, this is the one, right? If you see this. Yeah. So this is something, and the interesting thing is that I can key out the black one. If you see this material, right? Yeah, I use this. Oh, go ahead.
Was this last week?
Last week? What?
Last week office hours?
Last week office hour. Last week was Prashasti, and she was teaching WebXR.
Yeah, I didn't see your portal, so I was just curious.
Oh, you didn't see my portal?
No, I'd love to see it.
Okay, so let me share with you. It will be here. I mean,
the question
reason
was actually whether this could be downloaded at runtime, whether you needed to increase your artifact size by bundling it, or whether it's a convention. Because on WebXR, we don't have an artifact. We don't bundle anything. Well, I guess you bundle the JavaScript, but you don't. I mean, that's just to make it like one executable file, but all your artifacts are downloaded at runtime, like every model, every asset, every JPEG, etc. And I assume you can do that with Unity too. But is that a pattern that you've come across, or usually you just like download it into your project? And
Oh, I go online and get the assets separately. There's no bundle. It's pretty much, I would say, for the game stuff, and it's pretty much keep evolving. For example, like at the beginning, you probably download something and it's not useful, but later on you kind of trial and error and you download a bunch of assets.
Well, what I
And
mean
it,
by
oh, okay,
I
go
mean by
ahead, go ahead.
bundling is that
Mm,
eventually when you publish your game, you're
Mhm.
going to hit some export button, some compile and export button, right? And that's going to produce some artifact,
Mm.
like an APK or
Oh
something.
yeah, APK, yeah. At the end, you create an APK. Yeah.
And within that package, or maybe next to that package, is your movie file, right?
Yeah.
You're publishing
No,
these.
no. It's bundle. It's totally intact with that APK. That APK can be uploaded to App Lab or MetaQuest store, and
Right.
that thing. Yeah.
Which increases the download time for a movie that you're only going to experience at the very beginning, right? My question was, can you create runtime assets that are downloaded from CDNs or the internet and put it in your game so that you don't have to increase the download time? Because somebody who's downloading your game has to download your movie too, right?
But that movie is very small. Yes, it's. I would say for that APK, it's already the game you can play. I don't really know. I mean, my background is more artist. I don't really know what's that APK contains. If you really want to see what's that, I can share with you. Like, pretty much is something like this, right? You do the build setting, right? You go here. 015 is the one that I want to do a tutorial in between intro and cloud end. So you go here, right? You put whatever. So it's Android, right? And you click build and run, right? And you go here and it's called APK. And once you have APK, it's pretty much one APK file. And I believe whatever you have inside, it just adds up the file.
So self-contained.
Yeah, it's just one that APK. Yeah.
I mean, essentially, it's a zip file with code. I mean, it makes sense. It's self-contained, but like games have some element that are not self-contained, right? For example, like a scoreboard, for example, that goes out to the internet. So for some things, they're just not known when you build your game because it has to reach out to the internet for something. So I was just wondering if it was, I guess not. It's not a popular thing to bring in artifacts at runtime to reduce your APK style.
Well, but I think you're right. You should be able to stream content if you need to. So Dominique, I assume there's a facility for streaming. Is that correct?
I think so. I don't really know streaming stuff here. Yeah. Probably Kate, can you kind of dive in Quest 3 streaming videos, something like that? I'm thinking about you probably need to use web, HTML or some. I know you can open a web browser inside the Unity build. You can do that. You can create a web browser and you insert like a something.
Yeah, not just video. I mean, any data really, right? Any model, textures, etc. Yeah.
I need to download something on the fly. So like you're saying, you might have like one of these CDN servers or something like that somewhere. I don't know exactly how you would set that up.
Yeah. So so today it's more like a overall how everything works, and you see like you need the OVR scene manager, you need this toggle, and make sure you have the depth sensor, and I always set up the soft occlusion. But you can later on, I probably will take out all the code and only put this as a default, because right now you need to press like A to switching occlusion depth API inside my build. So that's kind of something that I'm working on. Okay, so any other questions? I mean, I know we have a couple of guests, and anybody wanna share anything or have anything in mind and you are interested, or generally.
how do you win this game? So you got this
Wow, this is a good question. Okay, so
what's the
pretty much
objective here?
I was inspired by Pillow VR. If you play Pillow VR, you know that, wow, I was admired they break the rules. Because I mean, back in meta or any games, we are everybody knows that when we are trying not to make your head look up, because look up, this energy costs a lot and it's uncomfortable. But the entire Pillow game is you lay on and you look up. So, and I think lay on the bed and look up is not it's very comfortable. So I think that game is brilliant. So you see, you break the rule, right? But you are not, you are using the lay on the bed. So I think context wise, this is a brilliant way of breaking the rules. And second is that I really love the onboarding because it used the pillow to show the, and put like something like a video and doing the onboarding. And also I love like how you kind of make the entire ceiling. And because you see the difference between the floor and the ceiling is that every obstacles is on the floor. So if you want to play a game, sometimes, things will stuck in something, right? But if ceiling, there's nothing on the ceiling. So I think ceiling is amazing and explore way to do things. So this game, before I do everything different, but because after playing the Pillow VR, you see like the beam from the ceiling and come down and I grab one. That is totally kind of inspired by Pillow VR, because Pillow VR, you need to drag, I don't know, sheeps or something and to dump on something, right? Oh, I want to go to this game. So
I
yeah,
agree with you about the comfort of laying in bed and looking up, although I have a different way of different idea of solving this problem is that you can just tilt the world. So I like games where, like, let's say first person shooters where you're teleporting, and if you try to lay down in there, you'll be stuck looking at the ceiling. So it's not a very comfortable thing, but you can still be able to teleport through the world if you just tilt the world on its x-axis, just tilt it up like 45 degrees so that I'm still laying down, but I am perceived to be standing up in the game. Kind of what I want to do. I haven't had time to do it, but that's my idea.
Yeah, I do think that it's very interesting that a lot of people start exploring how this mixed reality works. Because today I interviewed Thomas, who is the developer for Cubism VR, and he just told me that he is thinking about the entire table as an interface. An entire room is an interface, and he kind of want, for example, when I press something on the wall, he wish there are some feedback, so he feels like this room is alive as an entire environment interface. It's just very crazy. Oh, anyway, Kate, any questions?
Oh, I'm just like want to talk about the pillow also. So yeah, rotating like the person to like make it assume like it's standing, but at the same time it's like laying down on the bed. It's like pretty cool idea, but at the same time you need to like kind of figure out what the accessibility of that person is. So for example, if we're laying down, we can't like move our arms, like our hands to the back, right? So they're like the games, I mean like the game mechanics supposed to be like work with the bed, and we like need to figure out how much space people like have in front of them and like all these things. So why pillow is cool, because it's actually think about this, like that people like may not have a lot of space on the on the right side or like left side, and maybe like a little space on the top. So this is why I feel like Pillow has very good game experience for the people who are like laying down.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So yeah, I do like, I just want to see how mixed reality, for example, it's like the imaginary world. I know VR is kind of like you can do something that beyond your imaginary, and it's like in the real world you couldn't do. And in mixed reality, it's even better. You can do something not only against the physics, but also ground on your reality. So you won't bump into the wall, bump into something. I would say that this is a very interesting concept, and it's only in your room, and there's no guardian, and you can walk and you can play inside your room. I think this is an amazing idea, or amazing new media for people to think as a whole, right? Your room, your environment, let's say organism, right? And when you press, when you interact, it has some feedback and it will trigger something. But you see, it's a normal object, right? Your desk, your wall, but when you push and something might pops up, it's just amazing. And definitely you need to kind of mapping out or testing out different rooms, different assets. But I just find out this is treating the entire environment as an kind of organic, or something that will listen, respond to you back, and you can see all the interesting visualization feedbacks or a game on top of it. I think this is amazing. Yeah. Any questions? Or anything you want to share? Okay, go ahead.
Maybe we could have the LLM tell it what, you could just say what room you're in and the LLM would take care of the rest of it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't really know how. I can use ChatGPT, I can use AI, but I don't know how to create it. Maybe, Jim, you can create one and we will totally promote it, because this is what we are looking for. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Awesome. Anybody want to share anything? This is like a last question. Anything? Last thing? Anybody want to share anything? Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And see you next week. Bye-bye.